Hey, so today we're going to look at the passive voice. Apologies in advance, this is going to be a longer video than usual, simply because it's a longer topic. Also, within this video there will be exercises for you to complete, and I'll be giving time during this presentation to allow you to do that. Okay, so passive voice. The difference between the active and passive. Okay, thus far we've only learnt about the active. Okay, the active is when a person or thing is doing the action, and the passive is where a person or thing is on the receiving end of the action. So, for examples, the boy kicks the ball. That's active because the boy is doing the action, and then the ball is kicked by the boy would be passive because the ball is on the receiving end of the action. Okay, we call these two things the active voice and the passive voice. Okay, so the active voice and passive voice, and we are going to be looking at the passive voice today. So, how to recognize a verb in the passive voice. Passive is easy to recognize in Latin. Most present, imperfect, and future active forms can be converted to their passive equivalents by a simple formula. Remove the active person endings and then simply add the passive endings. Here are our basic person endings for each. So active, singular. I would be O or M. In the passive, it's R. You, singular. Normal ending is an S, so whether it's imperfect, perfect, present, would normally end in S. And the passive, RIS, RIS. He, she, it, normally ends in T in the active. In the passive, tur. Plural, we, mus, and in the passive, mur. You all, tis in the active, and then mini in the passive. And then finally they, unt, and then untur. Okay, so 6 new endings, but they are quite similar except for the second person plural to the active. Okay. Note the vowel in front of these passive person endings are usually the same as the active. So in the first conjugation it'd be A, second E, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the present passive, first conjugation. We're only going to look at the present passive today, but in due course we will visit the imperfect as well. Okay, so the first conjugation. I, porto becomes portor. You, portas becomes portaris. He, she, it, portat becomes portatur. We, portamus becomes portamur. You all, portatis becomes portamini. And then they, portant becomes portantur. Now, when we're translating these passives, I feel the best way to do them, to translate them, is to do it as follows. So if we look at portat and carries, portatur would be is being carried. Present tense, is being carried. They, portant, so they carry, they are being carried. Okay? So make sure when you translate it, the sentence becomes passive. So on your workbooks, your assignments, I would like you to practice these first conjugation verbs, converting them into the passive voice. there'll be obviously each one will be a different ending of the conjugation, and change it to the passive alternative. Okay, so the first one is ambulo. You've got 10 seconds. Okay, and hopefully people all got ambulor. Note with these endings, go back a little bit actually, with these endings and the way I've set it out, I've made it clear, hopefully, that A is the classic letter at towards the end of the first conjugation verb, and then obviously the relevant ending is after that. Okay, so A is separated because that is the classic ending for the first conjugation, classic stem ending for the first conjugation. Okay, so ambulo, ambulor. Festinas becomes, you've got 10 seconds. Yep, that's festinaris. Hopefully you all got that right. Next one, laudat. 10 seconds. Okay, and hopefully you all got it as laudator. Next one, salutamus. Okay, and that would become salutar more. Amatis. Yep, and that would become amarmini. And then finally, necant. Cool, and this would become necantor. Okay, hopefully you got those, but we'll see the same endings again in the second conjugation. So, I in the singular, moneo becomes moneor, you, mones, moneris, ishiet, monet, monetur, plural, we, monemus, monemur, you all, monetis, and monemini, they, monent, and monentur. Okay, so E is the identifiable letter in the second conjugation. So EO, ES, ET, and then EOR, ERIS, etc., etc. Okay, so here we go. 6 words. Tenio, change it to the first person singular in the passive voice, please. 10 seconds. Okay, so it should be tenio. Habes, second person singular. Haberis, very good, hopefully. Next one. You bet. Oh no. You bet becomes, you can see it, ubetur. Next one. Videmus. So first person plural, meaning we, becomes what? In passive voice. 3, 2, 1. Videmur. Videmur. And then videtus, second person plural. Okay, and that's obviously videmini. And finally, devent. Hopefully you've got the hang of this now. The ending would be deventur. Okay? Third conjugation. singular. I. Traho becomes traho. Trahis. And now there's a slight change here. You'd think it would be tra-iris with an I rather than E. However, in the third conjugation, this changes to E, which makes it a little bit more tricky. But once you know it, it'll be fine. So Trias becomes Traheris. Ishiet, Trahit, Triatur. Plural, we, Triamus, and Triamur. You all, Triitis, and Trimini. They, Traunt, and Traunter. Okay? Same again. Oh, yes. Bibo means I drink. Can you change it to a passive voice? Okay, so Bibor, Regus, okay, obviously Regaris, that E places the I, the second person singular. Mitit, comes Mititur. Ducimus, I very much in place there, becomes Duke Imor. We are being led. Dikitis, second person plural, you all are. Speaking, becomes Dikimini, so that should say Dik, D-I-C. Please make sure you put D-I-C rather than D-U-C. Thank you. Custodiant, and that becomes Custodiuntur. Good. Okay, fourth conjugation. Hopefully again the same idea. The right idea. Audio, audior, audis, auderis, audit, auditur, audimus, audimur, auditis, audimini, and then finally audiunt, audiuntur. The notable letter there is the I, and that is constant in both active and passive. Okay, so make sure you are including that when you convert to the passive. So punier, you go pretty quickly. Punior, Venice, Veneris. Note that's an I rather than an E. So in the fourth conjugation, it does not change to an E. Dormit becomes dormitor. Scimus becomes scimur. Aperitus becomes aperimini. And then finally impediunt, which means they impede. Hinder becomes impediuntur. Okay, so let's make sure let's check this again. Punior, Veneris, Dormitor, Scimur, Aperimini, and then finally Impediuntur.